Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we dig through company filings so you don't have to. Today we're cracking open Rapid Micro Biosystems' latest quarterly report. It's a bumpy ride, folks, so buckle up and don't say I didn't warn you. This report paints a picture of a company still fighting an uphill battle. They're trying to make microbial quality control, or MQC, testing faster and more accurate for the pharmaceutical industry, and it's a tough market. We're going to look at how well they're actually doing, what's working, what's not, and what could completely derail their plans. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. Come and join the discussion. First off, some housekeeping. As of May 6, 2025, Rapid Micro Biosystems had about 39.3 million shares of Class A common stock and 4.5 million shares of Class B common stock outstanding. This just tells us how much ownership is spread out. It's important later on. Let's dive into the financials, the heart of this report. Total revenue for the quarter was $7.2 million. Product revenue, what they get from selling their systems and consumables, was $4.1 million, and service revenue, things like maintenance and validation, was $3.1 million. It's all good. Let's see how this compares to last year. Looking back, total revenue this time last year was $5.6 million, so they are growing. Now, the interesting part here is actually the change in composition. Product revenue had a relatively small increase, but what jumps out is the service revenue nearly doubled from $1.9 million in 2024 to $3.1 million, doubled from $1.9 million in 2024 to $3.1 million in 2024 to $3.1 million, doubled from $1.9 million in 2024 to $3.1 million this year. That tells me they are making good progress servicing already installed systems. Of course, revenue isn't everything. You need to look at what it costs to make that money. The cost of product revenue was $5 million and cost of service revenue was $1.8 million. Zooming out, their operating expenses are still significant. They have $3.6 million for research and development. Without that, this company is dead. Then they spend $2.8 million on sales and marketing to try to sell their products, and $5.7 million on sales and marketing to try to sell their products, and $5.7 million marketing to try to sell their products. And $5.7 million expenditure and administrative, basic corporate and employment expenses are still significant. They have $3 of Montreat for anything to try to sell their products, and $5.7 million for general and administrative, basic corporate and employment expenses. All of that leads to an operating loss of $11.7 million. Not great. The good news, it was lower last year. Now, they do have some other income to offset these losses. Mostly interest income from their investments, netting out other small expenses to a total of $0.4 million. So after a small income tax, their net loss attributable to parent, a long name that means real loss, is down $11.3 million. This translates to a loss of $0.2026 per share, better than the $0.3131 loss last year. Progress, not profit. Let's see where the cash is going. Accounts receivable decreased by roughly $3 million. Inventory decreased by $1.1 million, meaning they sold through more of their stock. Accrued expenses decreased by $2 million. A lot of these numbers look pretty random in general. On the other side, in investment activities, they have maturity of investments for $11 million, and on the other hand, didn't purchase any new investments. Finally, some extra small cash from sale of Class A common stock through stock option exercise and employee purchases. All of this movement resulted in $9 million used in operating activities, way better than the $15.5 million last year. At this rate, their cash will last longer. Now, where is that cash? As of March 31, they have about $15 million in cash equivalents and almost $23 million in short-term investments. Mostly US government treasury notes. Still a good runway before it goes to zero. Before we move on, something interesting I noticed: their biggest customers represent a large part of revenue. Customer A represented 17.4% of revenue and customer B with 15.6%. In total, the top 3 customers are close to half of their revenue. That's a big concentration risk that they need to work on. They classify almost all of their short-term investment as US government treasury notes, which are very safe because they are backed by the US government. Their total amount to $22.7 million. One recurring expense is stock-based compensation, where they grant shares to employees totaling over $1 million. It is important that the company rewards its employees, but this does reduce the company's profits. Also, as of March 31, 25, shares under unvested restricted common stock were 2.6 million. Now, let's talk about the future. They have commitments to suppliers where they are obligated to buy a fixed number of components to keep their business running. They expect to pay around $1 million next year and $1.8 million next year and $1.820 to produce. If they sell less than that, they're stuck with the bill. Time to check the fine print in the notes. The company says they expect existing cash and investments to fund their operations for at least a year. So they're not worried about running out of money in the immediate future. Now, the section you have to look at, the risks. This is where they tell you what could really go wrong. Some of their biggest risks is that they still need to be profitable and increase their sources of revenue from existing customers. They were talking about the volatility of their Class A common stock, and if they end up delisting, they have received warning letters in the past and could receive another one. Now, let's step back and look at the big picture. Rapid Micro Biosystems is in a really tough industry. Pharmaceutical companies are slow to adopt new technologies, and getting them to switch from their old methods is a real challenge. The good news is they are reducing how much cash they use by cutting costs and appear to be getting more money from their current clients as a result of good support service. They have to get the financials straight to avoid more volatility in their company and stock price. To summarize, this report shows a company making slow progress in a challenging market, but they still have lots of uphill climbing ahead of them. Alright, that's our breakdown of Rapid Micro Biosystems' latest filing. What do you think? Are they innovating fast enough, or do you see trouble ahead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.